Inside the studio today, Anwar.
Yes, indeed, Andrew. You know, it's interesting. Of course, spring has sprung, but this is also the start of fish stocking season. So we're broadcasting live in Stouffville with Metro East Anglers. It's a non-profit, completely volunteer-run organization, and these guys play a vital role in keeping checks and balance for the ecosystem, for rivers and, of course, Lake Ontario, because they help replenish the fish supply. And if you think about it, in 25 years when they first started this, they reared about 3,000 rainbow trout. Today, it's almost 1 million fish. And it all starts here in the incubation room. So this is where, months ago, 250,000 eggs were sitting. We're just past that stage now. So they would be moving in from here to these bins. And if you look over here, this is about 3-month-old brown trout. And you can see, there are literally thousands of them. So we have a trout, we have salmon. In fact, they have quite a few different species. We're going to talk more about it. There's a close-up shot of them there. But it's really quite something because, in nature, young fish, less than 1% survive, but through the hatchery system, it's over 80%. So a huge success rate. We're going to talk the importance about that coming up throughout the course of the hour. Really fascinating stuff. Let's take a look at your forecast. We'll start off with the radar and the satellite imagery. We do have some flurries in parts of cottage country. You can see that in blue. It won't really punch farther south than that. Let me expand the view for you and show you what it looks like with the satellite radar picture. We are dealing with a fair amount of cloud. There are a few breaks in there, but cloud is dominating. From there, we'll get into our current temperatures, and we'll put on the norm for you. So at Pearson right now, this morning it was above freezing. We're sitting at 7, 9 is the norm, 5 in Windsor, 3 in Muskoka, 8 in Niagara Falls. The temperature is absolutely key in terms of when they release these fish. And we're going to tell you all about it as we broadcast live here on CTV News at noon. Guys, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Anwar. And man, take it off.
Metro East Anglers in Stouffville, President Glenn Anderson is joining us. Over the next few weeks, your team will be releasing literally thousands of fish. I knew you utilized 3 rivers. Maybe you can explain that for our viewers. We'll show you a map as well.
Sure. We have 3 different types of salmon in the hatchery. We've got Pacific salmon, Draco salmon. They're going to be going into the Credit River. We've got Atlantic salmon. There are different species of fish that are going to be going into the Kanaraska River. And our last
East End?
East End, yeah. Well, far east out towards Port Hope. Yeah. And we have a rainbow trout as well. And they'll be going into the Rouge River system, which is just south of where we are right now, Anwar.
How many fish will you release?
Of the 3, probably a total of about 80 to 85,000.
Wow, and how long will it take you?
It'll take a few days, depending on the number of volunteers we have to help us. But over probably 2 weekends, it'll take us probably 2 or 3 days.
Wow, isn't that something? So if you want to help them out, we'll let you know about that and take you back inside and show you some of the species, plus your full forecast coming up as we broadcast live with Metro East Anglers in Stouffville. Stay with us.
Most of the viewers know I live in Stouffville. And Ringwood is just a little blip right next to Stouffville. I drive through all the time. I never knew this existed there.
It's right in your backyard.
Yes.
You see, isn't that something I think, alongside that, a lot of us just take for granted, especially if you're an angler, the fish you're going to catch. But the fact is, you need people like this, and it's all volunteer run. In fact, Glenn has been here for 2 decades. So volunteers change, life schedules change, but it's volunteer run. They work with the Ministry of Natural Resources, and it plays a vital role. I want to show you guys something. So this is the rainbow trout. I'm going to approach it now and watch how they move. So I'm going to look at this. So this, as Glenn was indicating me, it shows that they're wild. You don't want them to be used to people, expecting to be fed. This is what they would do in the wild. Look how they just separated. I feel like Moses separating the river. But let me go back to Glenn here, because it's really interesting. He's got a net here, and this is one of the salmon species, right?
Correct, Colo salmon.
So let's see if we can pull this out briefly here and show people at home. How old are these guys?
These would be a little over a year old. You can see they're pretty excited to be on TV today, Anwar, so they're jumping around quite a bit.
They're excited because they're going to be released soon.
Exactly. They're going out in about 3 weeks, so they'll be happy to be out in the river.
So the process then from egg to release can be over a year, depending on the species, right?
Correct. Some species it's shorter period, some is slightly longer, but that on average is right.
And you were mentioning, and this is really important, that some of the species in terms of the salmon, they play a real key role into our Lake Ontario beach system, right?
Absolutely. The reason salmon were initially put in the lake and are in the lake is to manage the predatory nature of the lake. It has bait fish that need to be consumed.
Right.
These fish are put in the lake to manage and help balance that all out.
So would you say this is one of your biggest accolades with the salmon release?
I think so. I think coho salmon, there was a period of time that they were no longer stocked into the lake. The Metro East Anglers reintroduced them probably 5 or 6 years ago, and the program has been very successful. Anglers love catching them, and creates a great fall fishery as well.
Isn't that something? So there's maybe 80, maybe 90,000 fish that are here, and all of them within the next few weeks will get ready to release, but it's very temperature dependent. Explain that.
Yeah, our hatchery water is about 9-10 degrees Celsius. Right. The fish need to go into water that's roughly the same temperature, otherwise they suffer a shock. It'd be like jumping into an ice cold bathtub. Yeah. We don't want to be doing that, so we have to manage the stocking interval to coincide with the temperature of the river water.
So of course nature plays a key role in that too, with the warm-up, and that is on the way. Let's take a look now at your forecast. We'll start off with letting you know the weather's brought to you by the President Law Firm Injury Lawyers. You don't pay unless they win. From there we get into our national
Sports Center newsroom. I'm Corey Warren. Have a great day.
That is a 1-year-old Atlantic salmon, just a beautiful looking fish. Let's put it back into the bin here and talk about the feed, because it doesn't look like much, but it's quite costly to feed these fish.
That's right, Anwar. This is a fish feed that comes from a company out in British Columbia, typically used for aquaculture purposes out there. It grows great fish in the hatchery system. It's quite expensive. It's about $80 a bag, and we use one bag in here each day, sometimes more. The good news is that a portion of this feed is paid for out of everybody's fishing licenses, so it's put to good use. That money, when people are buying fishing licenses, you're helping grow fish to go back into the lake.
Yeah, so now you know. We're going to have a forecast recap coming up as we broadcast live in Stouffville. Stay with us.
Future of fish in our lakes by going to Ringwood of all places.
I just think it's really fascinating. We just think they're fish, but boy, it's a whole system. And by the way, if you want to volunteer, you want to participate, just check out their Facebook page at Metro East Anglers. Everything is down there, whether you want to do an hour a week, couple hours a week, and it's not only in Stouffville, there are sites across the GTA. Really just an amazing story here, though. And right now, I am doing the fish poo duty, sort of sweeping it through to the filter system there. Hey, it's got to be done. And again, within a few weeks, almost 100,000 fish will be released in 3 different rivers that'll eventually all end up in Lake Ontario. Here's your 7-day forecast. So for today, more cloud than sun. Should remain dry until the overnight period. And then for tomorrow, there's just a risk of a shower. Nice temperatures, though, 8 degrees. 5 on Thursday, mainly sunny. As we get into Friday, we'll see rain showers for the afternoon. Shot of cooler air, and then it really bounces back. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. Fingers crossed it doesn't change. 13 on Saturday, 12 on Sunday. Could see 14 into Monday with a mix of sun and cloud. Guys, we'll send it back to you. Andrea, I'm heading to your house for lunch.
Wonderful. Richard's there. I'm sure he'll feed you.
All right, thanks, Anwar. Well, that is CTV News.